Get your glass of water because it's gonna get deep. Today I want to talk about emotions, how to process them, and about changing the narrative regarding the conditional acceptance of emotions. First, I want to go into what emotions are and what their purposes are. I like to imagine emotions as informers. They inform us about something that is being triggered from within us or from an outside source. Most often, they can get triggered from thought processes, instant triggers beyond any clear thought process, and triggers that stem from deep personal unconscious content of the psyche. Let's dive a little into what the difference between emotions and feelings are. Oftentimes, we confuse feelings with emotions. We feel the emotion, so feelings are more like bodily sensations and intuitive sensations in general. Emotions, on the other hand, are most often charged and can be labeled such as joy, anger, frustration, fear, happiness, etc. Feelings are more broad and can encompass many more sensations beyond emotions. Next sip of water. Hydrate yourself. Okay. Changing the narrative around emotions. In traditional schooling systems, we're usually not taught on how to properly handle our emotions and process them. There's a huge gap in educational systems around self-awareness in general. A lot of us have even been taught to not feel our emotions, or that some of the emotions that come up are unacceptable. However, the emotions that rise up, which we push down into our subconscious and unconscious mind, stay there and linger in these realms and grow there even further. And since the pushed down emotions have not been processed, transmuted, or released properly, they will show up in a different type of form, most often in a more passive but more aggressive form, or in a form of neurosis or any other type of psychological symptom to the conscious reality. Therefore, it is of utmost importance for us to learn more about our own psyche, our own emotions, and about how to welcome and process them. Accepting all of our emotions. Most of us feel a fear in welcoming our emotions because we have not learned how to sit with them and process them. Most of us have also been taught that pushing away emotions is what makes us strong, which is not the case. In actuality, learning to sit with the discomfort, especially with the discomfort of heavier emotions, strengthens our psychological roots and our inner resilience. This inner resilience transforms itself into a deeply rooted and grounded inner serenity, inner peace, and a profound inner wisdom beyond any particular emotion. This deep inner stillness is a state of being, and it is so grounded that it can weather any storm of turbulent emotions that come and pass by. You can imagine this like a tree. I love to give the analogy of a tree. The tree is a symbol for so many psychological instances. You can imagine this like a tree that has very deep and strong roots that allow it to keep itself deeply grounded no matter what type of weather conditions it experiences on the outside. Emotions aren't good or bad. In fact, all of them serve a purpose, and all of them make us whole and make us human. And our feelings, emotions, and sensations don't define us. They simply are here because we are human. A lot of us feel a deep inner resistance for feeling and facing our own emotions by ourselves due to the fear of not being able to sit with them and handle them, or bear the pain and all the heavy emotions that arises from within. In such instances, I always recommend to see a licensed psychologist who can be a supporting and guiding presence and be a safe anchor for the emotions that arise from within you. Emotions always get generated from within, and everything that stems from within us seeks our unconditional love and acceptance. There are various parts of our inner child in our psyche from which the emotions stem from. These parts seek to be seen, heard, loved, and accepted unconditionally. The psyche doesn't operate in linear time. Thus, it can bring up content in the form of thoughts, emotions, feelings, and sensations, and other various stimuli that may not make sense to the rational mind. The psyche is a multi-dimensional, complex system that stretches itself beyond the comprehension of rationality. Therefore, it is so important for us to welcome all of our feelings, emotions, and sensations just as they are, without trying to interrupt the process of their rising. Whenever an emotion arises, it is healthy to not intellectualize the emotion immediately, but rather to allow yourself to hold a safe space for them to come up from your unconscious reality to the conscious reality and just be. Emotions never stay forever. Whenever they are being properly accepted and processed, their heaviness transmutes itself into higher and lighter frequencies. In spiritual terms, this process is also called the process of emotional alchemy. Now, whenever a certain emotion arises, it might be that it can be triggered from a thought process that doesn't really reflect the truth or reality. In such instances, it is still important to just allow the emotion to be here instead of saying, "This isn't even true." The emotion needs time to be processed and released. After the intensity of the emotion has evaporated more, the thought process can be examined by using strategies of, for example, the cognitive behavioral therapy. I highly recommend you to research CBT and its strategies for understanding your thought processes and for detecting whether your thoughts and conclusions do reflect reality or if they're far away from it whenever you feel an intense emotion. Most often we feel plenty of emotions at the same time, yet some of them just come more to the surface. Considering the complexity of our beings, it is easy to state that there are multiple of emotions, sensations, and feelings that are present at the same time. Yet most often we feel one or two or maybe some of them more predominantly than the others. Now I will give you 3 tools for letting your emotions out and processing them in healthy ways. The first tool that I love to recommend, and this is if you have watched my previous videos or listened to my podcasts, you will know this. It is the tool that has helped me the most in my inner transformation. It can be somehow considered a privileged tool because not everyone has access to it. Although globally we experience a rising of self-awareness, this allows for this tool to be more accessible in general. So the first tool is therapy with a licensed psychologist. A psychologist will be a direct reflection and a mirror to your innermost. And with the guidance of a psychologist, you have the opportunity to dive deep into your subconscious and unconscious mind in a guided way. The second tool that is one of my best friends that has been with me since years and years is journaling. Now, there is a particular method that I want to recommend, and it is the method called stream of consciousness. journaling. This type of journaling encourages us to fully express ourselves onto paper without rationally thinking about what we're writing. It's about allowing everything to come out from your psyche and from your mind without filtering anything out. And through this transparency, a huge amount of heavy emotions and energies can be transformed internally through the releasing of them onto paper. Now, the third tool that I want to recommend is meditative writing. This one is a journaling tool that I myself have named it that way. I haven't come across anyone that recommended this or that does this, but I personally have found immense therapeutic relief in it. This journaling strategy basically is about writing everything that comes into your mind, into your conscious reality, onto paper or into a journal by having your eyes closed. Now, this might sound funny, but it is super healing because this allows you to tune out of the external stimuli that are around you, which in turn helps you to really tune into your innermost and have a more cleaner connection with what comes out from within you. There are plenty of other ways to process your emotions healthily and in a functional way. These are just 3 of some of the many tools that I love to use for processing my emotions. Now, what are some tools that you like to use for processing your emotions? Or maybe you just had an inspiration and something came to your mind, an idea, or anything. Feel free to comment below so we can have an exchange and learn about each other's methods. I hope this was helpful in some way or other, and I hope that you could get something out of it. Thank you so much for having been with me today. Much love. Hope to see you next time.